How many of you have played Monopoly? Yeah, fun game, right? Well, I read on the Hasbro website that they were trying to make the game more lifelike. So they added electronic banking and credit cards, and they're still urging people to write in and give them ideas on how to better resemble our society. Well, if they wanted to be like us, then you should be able to own people as well. Now, some of you may be wondering what in the world I'm referring to. I'm talking about gene patents. No, not the genes you buy at the mall, but the genes that are in our body. Our genetic code that has been passed down generation after generation. Biotech companies can now patent our genes. What that means is that if you want to have a test done to look at genes in your body to see if you're susceptible to cancer or Alzheimer's, you have to get permission from the company that owns that gene. It may be in your body, but you don't own it. According to USA Today on February 3rd, 2011, this madness was all started in 1980 when the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the first patent on a living organism, a bacteria that digested oil in oil spills. Since then, 10,000 human genes have been patented. As you can see, this is a problem. Genes should not be patented for 3 reasons. Gene patents impair research and development, they cause harm to current patient care, and there are better alternatives than strictly patenting the genes themselves. So, to begin, gene patent monopolies impair research and development. Now, just a reminder that when a gene is patented, the patent applies globally. So what that means is that if a company finds a certain gene is connected to a disease and they isolate the gene and then patent it, only that company can research on that gene. Now, patents do expire, and according to the U.S. Patent Office website last updated on October 31st, 2011, due to the nature of gene patents, they typically last between 17 to 20 years. That's 2 decades only one company can look at that gene in your body. And if anyone dares to look at it, you might be sued. Science Daily did a poll of American lab directors in August of 2011. And they found that a quarter of them have received letters from lawyers acting for biotech companies, ordering them to stop carrying out clinical tests designed for early detection of Alzheimer's, cancer, and an array of other disorders. Apparently, biotech companies don't believe 2 heads are better than 1 when it comes to research. Now, countries worldwide are up in arms about this. When Myra Genetics patented the BRCA1 and BRCA2 sequences, Europeans, Canadians, and Australians were furious. Dr. Allingham Hawkins, who is the president of the Canadian College of Medical Geneticists, is quoted for saying, "Gene patents are unethical. The more research we have on cancer, the closer we get to curing it. Gene patents only put another obstacle in the way by inhibiting research." So not only are gene patents inhibiting research that could cure cancer, they're also causing harm to current patient care. Now, the companies who own these gene patents have a monopoly over them. They can charge whatever they want to have their tests done because they have no competition, and so they are. According to CBS News, in July of 2011, 20 biotech companies have raised the price of their testing on their genes just this year alone. For example, according to CNN News on June 1st, 2011, a breast cancer test that was done for $1,000 now costs $3,000. And you have to take these prices, like it or not, because there is no other option. Speaking of which, it's important to remember that the people coming to get these tests done are going through huge, major decisions in their life. These results from this test could mean removing a woman's ovaries to prevent ovarian cancer. Any rational person would want a second opinion on this matter before they do something so drastic. And with gene patents, you can't get a second opinion. And this is disturbing a lot of people. According to BBC News, in December of 2010, 87% of women who took Myriad's ovarian cancer test wish they could have gotten a second opinion. That's not even the worst part. According to Science Insider of April of 2011, Myriad's control of the BRCA1 and BRCA2, which are the breast and ovarian cancer genes, has led to over 50 misdiagnoses. Now imagine you were one of those women. You just lost the ability to have kids forever because you had to gamble your chances on an expensive, error-prone test that you could not get a second opinion on. Now, there's a way to fix all of these problems. There are better alternatives than strictly patenting the genes themselves. But in order to understand why these alternatives are better, you have to understand why gene patents are around in the first place. And Kevin Newman, who is a lawyer who always fights for biotech companies when they're in court, kind of lays this out in an interview with MSNBC reporters on January 3rd, 2011. Gene patents actually improve research and patient care, he says. Without biotech companies, they wouldn't undertake the huge investment necessary if there was little economic payoff. And which is a very valid argument. Why would companies spend millions of dollars and years researching if there was no economic payoff? But there can be without gene patents. And the alternatives prove that, and they're better. There are many ideas going around that we could patent tests or treatments of a disease. That way, there would be more research on them. People would have access to second opinions. They would be less expensive because companies would then have to compete with each other. And biotech companies would still have the incentive to continue researching because there would be economic payoff. So that gets rid of all the problems. And Australian geneticists are really fighting for these alternatives, especially a group called Cancer Voices Australia. And on their website, which was last updated on October 13, 2011, there's a quote saying that gene patents are a necessary evil. Patenting treatments or tests would change the lives of millions worldwide. Slowly, this madness is ending. According to New York Times in August of 2011, biotech companies are slowly losing their control over gene patents. There's a case working its way up to the Supreme Court questioning Myriad's patent over the breast and ovarian cancer genes. And if Myriad loses control, gene patents will slowly fade into history. They won't be around to inhibit research and development or harm patient care, and the alternatives might fall into play and actually improve both of those things. Gene patents are a dangerous business. People should have the right to own their own bodies. Besides, if you're like me, I'm always broke by the end of Monopoly, and I really don't feel like being owned by someone as well. Thank you.